So this is a really, really exciting DevCon. Like, we, for the last few years, have been releasing a new version of Liferay Portal, of Liferay DXP, approximately every 2 years. So whenever there was a DevCon, where we were able to announce or to present a new version of DXP, it was super exciting. Of course, there were very good things on the years that we didn't have a new version, but when we had a new version, it was amazing. We came here so eager to show the world, to show all of you, all the new features that we have been working so hard on. And what is amazing for us is that this year, we're not only going to show you one new version of Liferay Portal and Liferay DXP, we're actually launching an additional 3 products. So what I'm going to try to do is give you a quick overview so that you start getting used to them, if you don't know them already, and some of the new things that come up with Liferay DXP. So I wanted to start with a sentence that Brian Song, our CEO, has been saying to us for a while, and he's been saying in his public presentations, which is the IT world, the IT leaders need to understand the business problems to innovate solutions. So he's been saying that a lot internally because Liferay, as a company, was founded by developers who hire more developers and then more developers. And we believe we've created a pretty good tool for developers. And thankfully, those developers, including all of you, you've created awesome things for the business. And when I say the business, I think it's important to highlight that I'm talking business in a very wide sense of the word. Some of you are in financial services, but some of you are in the education sector. That's still business. Some of you are in HR, or serving HR. And that's another very important part of business. So business means whatever adds real value to the outside world. It could also be non-profit. So we, IT, or more specifically, we developers like to talk about technology. And that's one of the reasons why, as Brian was saying, we tend to jump into the next bandwagon. But we need to find a way to balance when to jump into the next bandwagon or when to let it pass, because what we're doing will come again, right? So the way to do that is focus on what adds real value. And as Brian was telling us, we need to understand where that value is. Right? And that's something that I believe is important for us, developers at Liferay, and I believe it's important for all of the industry, all of the developers. So one thing that I needed to learn, for example, is this cycle. And when we're talking about a customer, and again, a customer in a very broad sense, there are several phases in their interaction with any company, with any service. First, you are thinking whether you are going to interact with them, whether you are going to buy a product, whether you are going to enroll in a university, whether you are going to become an employee. Then, hopefully, you become a customer, employee, alumni, whatever. And then, the ultimate goal of any single company, any single service, should be that that person not only stays very long with you, but that he or she becomes an advocate. They recommend that to everybody they know, right? Those are much more effective ways of getting known than an ad anywhere. So this is something that I personally had to learn. But I now believe it's very important when we are looking to add value, because we can add value in any of these phases, right? And for the business, they need to find out what's going on with each individual customer, potential customer, or with all of them. What's going on in this cycle? So, in this event, we're actually launching 4 products. That's the biggest launch in Liferay's history, the biggest product launch. And we're really excited about it. And then one of the things that it's helping us do is make sure we're not only offering good tools, a good platform for developers, but that we are actually taking into account this whole customer lifecycle. So let me quickly recap, even if they've already been mentioned, but let me recap the 4 products we're launching. First of all, we have Liferay Portal, or Liferay Digital Experience Platform. And we are presenting in this event Liferay 7.1. That's the newest version. Then we have an amazing new product, which is Liferay Commerce. Liferay Commerce has been built from the ground up, but it's an amazingly complex product, an amazingly advanced product. Then we have Analytics Cloud. If you haven't heard, Analytics Cloud is a software as a service product that has the goal of finding out what's going on with your customers, what's going on with your business, and try to deliver insights based on that. And then we have DXP Cloud, our newest launch, which allows running DXP. It's a platform as a service focused on running DXP on the cloud. So 4 products. At the end, what we want with these 4 products is to be able to empower you to cover all these customer lifecycle. So let me go a little bit deeper in each of them. Okay? So let's start with Digital Experience Platform 7.1. Liferay Portal, Liferay DXP is the product that probably all of you are already using or planning to use real soon, and that's one of the reasons why you're here. We're going to have a lot of sessions that talk about new stuff in Liferay 7.1, and I wanted to give you just a highlight. Obviously, whenever we present a new version, the first question that comes out is, when will it be available? You probably already know the answer, but just in case, it was already available past July. I really love when we're presenting a new product that you guys can already download and touch, and you may even have done it already. But not only that, what is awesome is the fact that we have already launched GA2, so thanks for everybody, many of them who are here, who worked very hard to have this in time for DEVCON, so please give them a brief So GA2 is ready with the usual stability improvements, and as you've seen, it's so much faster to start up, which is also really great for developers, right? We don't have to go get a coffee anymore while it's launching. So what is new? There are many, many new things in 7.1, but I wanted to highlight 3 of them that I believe explain well what we've tried to do with this release, what our main focus has been. So the first one is what we call empowering business users to create web experiences. By web experience, I mean a website, or just a web page, a landing page, anything that is accessed through a browser. It could be a web app, for example. So, as you know, Liferay is extremely flexible. And if it doesn't do something that you need, you can always extend it. You can do almost anything by extending Liferay. Right? Almost any website out there can be built with Liferay, and we've seen many examples of really stunning websites. What is really hard is for a business user who is not technical to do that. It's possible for us developers or technical people in general, but it's really hard for business users. That's bad for business users, but it's sometimes also bad for the more technical people, because the business users keep asking us to make changes to the website that we believe they should be able to do themselves. So we started a project a little over a year ago called Modern Site Building. We talked about it in last DEVCON. And basically what we tried to do is think what are the main roles in building a website, in building a web experience. And we came up with this: marketers, web developers, and designers that collaborate in building a real modern stunning website. So focusing on these 2, the marketer, basically what we want to provide is tools that just let them do their work. Let them focus on what they are doing and even forget about the tool. Right? For the developer, what do we want to do to empower them? Basically, we want to make it possible, make it easier for them to package their developments in such a way that the marketer or the business, the non-technical user in general, can do what they want without having to go back to the developer. Right? So that the developer can really focus on things that are not only more attractive, but are more value. Right? So this is a quick video from what we've already achieved in this vision in 7.1. So it's showing how to create a page, and this is assuming this is a marketer doing it. So we're studying the worst case scenario, which is almost an empty page, only a footer. And just by adding what we call fragments, which are sections of the page, the user can start just doing inline editing and entering the text. As you can see here, the user doesn't have to know of widgets, configure widgets, then find the content, then create the content, maybe with a form, but just entering the content in line. There is an image there, they want to change the image, they just use the image selector, and boom, they have their section. They've added a new section, right, which it's prepared by a web developer with specific inline editable sections, and all the user has to do is enter the text right there, seeing exactly how it's going to look like. We're going to fast forward a little bit. We don't want to see the marketer type all the content. But once he's done, he's just going to add another fragment. This fragment is interesting because not only has an image and some text, but it can also display a form. So here, what the user is doing is selecting a pre-existing form, and then enhancing it with some text, in this case a title or a description, again with editable text that has been prepared by a web developer. Okay. And that's basically it, right? We're just going to see how the footer is up there, so the user is just going to move it up, and the page is done. Okay. So we're going to see with an incognito window, this is the end result. This is a ready-to-use page, and the form already works. So this is something that, because of previous work by a web developer, a marketer can just come in, not only quickly, but with a focus on what it matters to the marketer. She's been able to create this web page. Okay. So this is an important part of the vision to which we're going. And this is just an example of a feature that shows how we're going in this direction. The second highlight that I wanted to give is how do we support this increasing business need of allowing users to give us information, or just collect information for users so that we can provide a better experience. What we've seen is very often this requires developing new applications. So we've invested a lot in Liferay Forms to cover more and more cases in which instead of having to develop yet another form application, you can just use Liferay Forms to provide that application to users. So one of the most important features that we've added is this concept of conditional rules. It's very powerful, and basically what it allows is to change the form dynamically as the user who is filling it is just selecting certain options, and then new additional options appear. There are many other features. There is multi-language support, which is very important in Europe. There is element sets, so that they can group several, or you can, as a developer, group several elements, several form fields, which are repeated again and again together, so that the business user just has to put them all together in a form. Data provider, really important. And you can create your own data providers, which means that the elements that are shown, for example, in a select, come from an external source, from a database, or a web service, whatever you want, right? And then we've also increased a lot of extensibility. This is very important because sooner or later you'll find a limitation in these forms. And at that point, we want to make it as easy as possible for you to extend it instead of having to then fall back to develop a new application from scratch. So I'm going to show you a quick example, which in this case is showing a form that is already built. And in this case, we're accessing through a website. Look at manufacturer, okay? So the user is going to select a manufacturer, and immediately a new field has appeared, which is the product, which depends on the manufacturer. And then when the product is selected, the product type automatically appears. And the SKU is automatically filled. Look at the issue description. I know you were able to see that the user wrote 3 words. Imagine he or she ran out of battery, because this is a phone, and this happens, right? So one amazing new feature is that if later you go home and you go to your browser and you go back to the form, it's filled exactly where you left it, including this issue description field where the user had already entered 3 words and now can continue entering the description. This is a really amazing new feature. The third highlight that I wanted to make, which is absolutely critical for those of us in Europe, is GDPR compliance. For those that don't know it, GDPR allows all of us, European citizens, to be back in control of the personal information that companies have around us. And what we've done is make it easier for people who are developing systems with Liferay to comply with GDPR. And we've introduced two features, which are the two rights that we as citizens have. One is the forget user or anonymization feature. So in many systems built with Liferay, users can log in and then interact with the system, maybe with the forums, maybe with the wiki, maybe with the blogs, comments, whatever. What this feature allows an IT administrator to do is say, this user has requested that we forget about him. So what the system is going to do is go throughout the data in the system and remove the personal data, but still leave the data that is not personal and that is meaningful as part of the conversation. And then the second functionality is export personal data. Again, a user may ask, any of us can ask a company, give me all the personal data you have about us. So what this allows us to do is, or it allows an IT administrator for a Liferay-based system is saying, give me all the information that the system has about this user. And we've done that for all of our key portlets and applications, but not only that, we built an API so that you can do the same quite easily for all of your applications. In fact, if you are using Service Builder, it's extremely easy because Service Builder can do most of the heavy work for you. But if you're not using Service Builder, you also have this API. The key thing is, we also want to make it easier for you as developers to add GDPR support for any applications that you've built on Liferay, so you don't have to do it from scratch. So one of the things I wanted to highlight is this is also going to be available for Liferay DXP 7.0. Because this is very important. I mean, not everybody can switch to the latest new version whenever it launches. So, summarizing, basically we want to provide more business value out of the box by providing features that we are seeing that many of you are building again and again for different projects, right? And we want to do it in such a way in which we're empowering developers by offering more tools and offering more customizability for you. And one of the things related to that I wanted to highlight is that we now have official DXP and official Portal Docker images. So if you have not tried out yet Liferay 7.1, I invite you to just go to Docker Hub. If you have never used Docker, it's really easy to use to install it in any Windows, Docker, and obviously Linux personal computer. And just with a command, you install Liferay 7.1 and it's ready for you to try it out. It's really, really cool, really fast. And we already have the Docker images for GA2 that was launched yesterday. So you can get the very latest version with this. So, as I said, there are going to be a lot of sessions that are going to dig deeper on this. So we have Alberto Chaparro talking about upgrades, really important if you are doing a project with 6.x or with 7.0, you want to know how easy or hard it is. We've worked really, really hard to make it as easy as possible to upgrade to 7.1. And Alberto is going to explain in detail some of the things we've done to make it easier. Ivan is going to talk about the modern front ends, modern site building. Pavel and Jürgen are going to dig deeper on what I showed you in the first video. And we're also going to talk about web APIs, because we're also investing about web APIs. And Thursday we have another couple of sessions. So if you are on a previous version than DXP 7.1, I really invite you to join these sessions and learn more about it. So this is the first product, but we have 3 more. The next product that I wanted to highlight is Liferay Commerce. So Liferay Commerce, again, it's really amazing. It really amazes me how much the commerce team has been able to build in just a little bit over a year of work. The first question that we always get is, why commerce? Why are you getting into the commerce space? There are so many other commerce products out there. There are open source products, there are proprietary products that are very well established. Why are you getting into commerce? Well, that's a very easy question to answer. Electronic commerce, we don't even say e-commerce anymore or electronic commerce because we all assume that that's the type of commerce that is going to dominate, or probably it's already dominating, especially for more techie guys like us. but it's just growing and growing and growing. And when something grows so much, there are so many opportunities. We believe there will be many opportunities for you or for the companies you work for your customers in the commerce space, and we believe there is a lot of room for innovation in this space. So that's one of the reasons why we want to offer a Liferay Commerce product. Basically, our focus is thinking. Along the lines of what I was saying, understanding the business is when someone is trying to sell something electronically, online, what makes them a better seller than any competitor? What makes their customers want to buy them? And how can we, as a platform provider, provide a better tool for them to be better? That's our vision for it. And one of the things that is amazing, as I said, is the number of features. We're coming into a mature market where there are many existing products. So we've made a huge effort, and the commerce team in particular has made a huge effort, so that even the first version of commerce has a huge number of features. I'm not going to go into them, but I did want to highlight how even in this first version, there is a huge feature set. And not only all the typical features that a commerce platform has, also some really advanced features, such as predictive analytics. And two ways in which we are applying already predictive analytics is demand forecasting. Help customers estimate the purchase cycle. When are you going to buy something so that you can be prepared economically, or also the provider so that they can prepare the stock for it. And then also product suggestions, so that you can automatically find related products that the user may be interested in whenever they bought another one. If you've used Amazon, you're very used to this already. It's very funny because I presented this in Italy a couple of weeks ago. One of the long-time community members, Dennis Signoretto, tweeted, "Wow, the roadmap for commerce looks really good." And Marco answered, wait, no, that's already in version 1. So just to avoid any confusion, I added this. This is already available. It's not only a roadmap. So apart from providing a platform, in this quest to provide more business value out of the box, Liferay Commerce is introducing this concept of accelerators. What accelerators are is an end-to-end solution that is already provided for a specific industry, for a specific use case. So we have 3 already, and we're planning to do more. So we're focusing especially on B2B, although we also have one that is B2C, and B2B has some special complexities that by doing this, not only we provide something that is ready out of the box if that's your use case, but it also proves that it can be done for other use cases. And it shows the way for you developers to build accelerators for your own space. Now, we have all these features. Now, what makes Liferay Commerce unique compared to other commerces? So probably one of the things that make it unique is because we've started from a Liferay Portal, from a Liferay DXP foundation. It's a very, very cohesive platform. So it's completely built from scratch, from the ground up. So it's new technology, and it builds on top of all the web content management capabilities, all the portal capabilities, all the collaboration capabilities, and all of that combined. But not only that, we are leveraging the Liferay technologies such as OSDI to have amazing flexibility for you as developers to extend it. So this is a conversation that I've heard more than 10 times in the last weeks. Any developer from anywhere in the world, in Twitter, in the forums, in Slack, in person, goes to Marco and tells him, hey, is there an extension point for whatever you guys are thinking of? Okay? And then Marco says, yes. Cool, no other product has that. I have not yet seen Marco answer no to this question. That's amazing, right? So, of course, take that as a challenge. And you can ask Marco crazy things, as long as they are useful, of course. So, let me show you a quick example of one of these accelerators, where we're going to see some of these things live. So you can see some products, but you can see how it's also integrated with recent blogs, with some functionalities for help. So you can see how the forums are directly integrated. And for certain type of businesses, forums are a great way to drive sales. Right? But then we also have the knowledge base, where in this case it's being used to provide information, deeper information about these products, which in the B2B space is often very important. And of course, we have a fully featured catalog with faceted search to help the user find whatever product they want to buy. To show specifically the predictive analytics, so you can see here forecast of orders that may be done in the next few months or weeks. So there are two sessions that dig deeper into commerce. First, regular session by Marco, Liferay Commerce in Action. I really encourage you to go there if you are interested in commerce or even if you are not. And then there is a workshop. If you're already planning to put it to use, this workshop shows how to get started and end up with a finished solution built on commerce. This is Liferay Commerce. Let's go to the third product, analytics. So analytics is a software as a service product. Okay. It connects to your Liferay DXP instance, but not only to your Liferay DXP instance. We've designed it so that it can connect to any solution that you or your customers may have. So this is, for example, Bosch has a very big Liferay side, but they also have a Drupal side. That's real world. That's one of the things that we've learned as we've started to do things with personalization and analytics. What the business users want to know is what their customers are doing, regardless of how they're interacting with the company. So it cannot be just Liferay Portal, Liferay DXP specific. And we've made it quite easy to use. Obviously, if it's Liferay DXP, it's out of the box integrated, and it can connect to this software as a service. But if you are using, or your customers are using any other product, yes, with a JavaScript snippet, it's a typical snippet that you may be used to. If you are used to Google Analytics, for example, and here you can see the typical page views tracking, right? But this goes farther. We wanted to go farther than just typical page views. We wanted to be able to track other business events, and specifically also, we wanted to make it very easy to track that they viewed a certain part of the page, which could be a content or could be anything. So just providing some metadata in the HTML, the JavaScript takes care of everything for you. You don't even have to write JavaScript in these type of cases. Just to give you a quick highlight, the key concepts of what we are tracking are targeted towards people, understanding people, and understanding interactions. So what we want is the business user, for every single person, or for an account that represents a good number of persons, to have one single place where they have an aggregated view of the information of these users. So it can come from a Liferay DXP installation, but it could come also from Salesforce or any CRM, or it can come from a variety of sources. So we're providing a unified view, and then we want to know what those users are doing, either individually or collectively. So we can say the typical asset reports, also path reports, which shows, 40% of the users have come to this page or this content through this way or this other way. Okay. So you can optimize that as a business user. And then engagement. What are your users interested on, and how is that evolving over time? So these are pretty advanced analytics powered by machine learning, obviously. So there is a session by Sarah Spignan today, so I invite you to join that session to learn more about what can be done with this tool. That's analytics. So the fourth and final new product, our newest launch, really exciting product for us, and I believe it will be for many of you as well, and that is DXP Cloud. So what is DXP Cloud? As I said in the introduction, it's an enterprise platform as a service that is tailored for Liferay DXP. And if you've been here in previous events, you've probably heard of WeDeploy, and we've used WeDeploy as a foundation to build a platform as a service that is really focused and makes things very easy for Liferay DXP. So basically what it is trying to do is solve the challenges from running, managing, and then scaling, which is, it can get really tricky for advanced installations, for large installations. So what are the three challenges specifically that we see and that we've tried to provide a solution for out of the box with DXP Cloud? Well, the first and obvious is infrastructure. Right? Whenever you're going to deploy Liferay somewhere, you have to choose the operating system, which servers you're going to use, what network configuration, security, which you need experts to do security right, monitoring, and then performance. All of that is taken care of in DXP Cloud. Once you have all of that taken care of, you have your application, right? It includes your solution, it includes Liferay Portal, your custom developments, configuration, maybe initial content, and all of that. Then the next set of challenges is things such as clustering. I need to cluster all of them. I need to automate the installation, because I may need to install it again and again. I need to monitor it, not at the infrastructure level, but also at the application level. I need to scale it, maybe automatically. I need to do backups, and I need to be able to recover those backups and make sure that recovery is working. A funny story is related to that, maybe many of you do. It's not enough to do backups, you have to be able to restore them for them to be useful. And then challenge number 3 is something that probably you guys will be excited about, which is we wanted to cover the whole DevOps. Sometimes these platforms only take into account, especially the enterprise platforms, only take into account running the system. But as you know, we're continuously developing and adding new features, and we want to make it as easy as possible to go from a specific development, a specific build, into launching it. And I'm going to show you a quick video of how this works. So you can see here, if you're familiar with Redeploy, there are a lot of similarities. So you can have a bunch of services. You can see there, Liferay DXP, search, database, backup, proxy. So it has a lot of features that really help the developer, or IT in general, take care of the important stuff and not have to take care of the same thing. So one of the things we're seeing is you can have several environments, which is what supports this development life cycle, right? Here we can see how when there is an alert, there is a peak memory. So you can turn on auto scaling. And then in this case, we're setting up that up to 10 machines can be used to provide this service. And it's automatically going to scale it. So we can also see, in this case more clearly, how there are 3 environments already configured. So we have development, UAT, and production, right? And there are different people who are authorized to deploy to each of these different environments. And DXP Cloud can connect to an existing continuous integration solution, and you can see the builds from here, and you can configure to which of these environments it's going to deploy a build. You can even create a new environment directly through the UI, and then change a specific build so that it goes to that new environment. It's really, really powerful. Thank you, Pierre. So there are, again, 2 very good sessions that I would recommend you to go. There is the Introducing Liferay DXP Cloud by Eduardo, and then a workshop by Thiago that shows how to do it real life. It's really cool. So this is our 4 products. Basically, we want to get better at adding more value to the business by understanding the business better. Right? We have four products. For three of them, one of the things we want to do is really understand what are those business needs. What are the things that you guys tell us often, we have to build these for our customers, and we see that happen again and again. Sometimes some of you have to build it again and again. We want to add more of that business value out of the box. And then we also, with DXP Cloud in particular, we want to make sure we free IT in general, we free developers from the boring tasks that have to be done again and again and are not interesting, and they don't add so much business value, so that you can really focus on what adds the most value to your customers, to your industry. Thanks a lot.